Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to take a very simple metal riff, or maybe just a simple chord progression, in this case just 3 power chords, and change that into something that sounds more meaningful to you and just gives it a little bit more life. What you're learning is, in a series of videos here, we are learning the song Overcometh from my latest album Overcometh, and this is going to be the verse. Now do hang around for our guitar chat at the end of the lesson. By the way, if you're one of my Patreon supporters, you have the tabs and the backing tracks to this as well. As always, let's play this riff out in the open and then we'll break everything down. Pretty simple for the most part. We're only basing this on 3 power chords. So by the way, I'm in standard tuning. Most of you guys know that. I'm also playing in the key of E minor here. We've got the E power chord, then we've got a C and an E. So that's it. So just think about this part right here before we start getting into the actual notes, okay? Almost too simple, kind of stock metal or stock hard rock riff there, right? Just a simple power chord progression. But this is the part of the lesson that I really want you guys to grasp, is that you can take something simple, and we're not going to make it complicated. We're just going to move some things around a little bit to make it sound a little bit cooler. You guys know I've talked about this before, and then we'll move on to the lesson here, but it's not so much, for me at least, it's not so much about trying to make a riff complicated. I'm not one of those bet you can't play this type of guitarist, and not that there's anything wrong with that, guys. That's great. Some of the riffs I do write are complicated. We'll talk more about this at the end of the video. We'll talk more about the album this is on too, so hang around for the end. But the goal here is just to make something that sounds good to you, to write something that sounds good to you. And the point of this lesson is how to take just a real simple progression, 3 power chords, and make it sound a little cooler. So what we're doing with the first part of that, we're doing some palm muting. These are all down picking, downstrokes, by the way. We've got the E power chord there. You'll notice that I'm also going to play that 3rd fret on the 2nd string there, okay? So this is the first part. And actually, I do one more thing. I also play the open A string, right? So you've got your power chord, okay, open E string, then you've got the 2nd fret of the A. Well, I'm also playing the 3rd fret, and at some point I'm also playing it open. So you've got these sounds right here. And I'm just throwing in some palm mutes. So let's go through that one more time. I'll have the tabs down there as well. Now we move on to the second part of the riff, and this is where we're going to play some notes based on the C and the D power chords, okay? What we're doing is pretty much the same thing, the same concept that we did with the E power chord. We're just changing that 2nd note of the power chord, and I've got like countless lessons on this. I do this a lot. I love it. And this is something I want to encourage you to do as well. When you're just playing power chords and maybe you're getting bored with power chords, just change that 2nd note. Just play something else instead of the normal 2nd note that you would play with that power chord. You can come up with some really, really cool progressions and riffs. So here's how the next part of this sounds. Okay, this is the first half of this verse to this song. What we're doing, again, we're playing the C power chord, but instead of 3-5 on the A and D strings, we're playing 3, 4. I want you just to listen to the difference just with this one power chord, okay? This is a regular power chord, and I'm going to follow it up with the way I'm starting this out, okay? Listen. Pretty cool. That gives it that edge, man. That gives it that just almost kind of sinister feel to it. So I start out like that. I start the C power chord out like that. 3, 4, then 3, 5, okay? Our next chord is going to be the D power chord, but we're not going to play the typical D power chord. We're actually going to keep those same notes. That second note that we played on the D string there, frets 4 and 5, but then our first note is going to be the D note, okay, the 5th fret of the A string, like this. So we throw all that together and then we get this. Now, let's play that all the way through. Let's play everything that we've learned up to this point. Now we move on to the second half of this riff, which again, this is the verse, and we're doing the exact same thing until we get to those C and D power chords. We're going to simplify it just a little, and I'll tell you the reason why I do this here, but this is what you'll be playing. So the only difference is we're playing the D power chord, okay, with the root note and the 5th note there, okay, that's what we're doing. That C stays the same, A and D strings, 3 and 4, followed by 3 and 5, then we're just playing, again, the regular D power chord. So we'll blend it in with the first part that we played with the E power chord there, okay? Alright guys, let's play the entire riff all the way through, and then we'll have our little guitar chat, so do hang around for that. Guys, it is time for our guitar chat. So obviously I'm going to mention the album Overcometh. Just type in Jason Stallworth, then Overcometh, and then you'll find me on Spotify, on iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, all those places. I don't even know how many platforms are out there these days, but it should be everywhere. Real quick, I will have CDs available for the album. I'm filming this in December. I will have CDs available for the album in January of 2024. I'm making a lot of changes to the online shop, and all that good stuff is coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. And I'll also have a link to the album in the description of this video here, along with links to my online guitar courses if you're not in one of those. So, simple riff, guys. 3 power chords. We've got an E, we've got a C, we've got a D. I don't know what that spells, but hey, it spells something. Anyway, very simple. I didn't really intend for this song. Well, the song has some more complicated riffs, and by the way, those are coming up. I'm going to be splitting the song up into lessons, so we're going to learn the pre-chorus, the chorus, the bridge, and all that good stuff. I'll get into some of the solos, but I want to just kind of chop these up into individual lessons, because there's a lot of lessons within these lessons, as you guys just went through here. You know, we talked about how to just, you know, create a cool sounding riff from just a simple series of power chords, just by moving that second note around a little bit. And again, I've talked about that a lot in my lessons. I do this a lot. I think it's a great strategy to use to really come up with some different textures in your rhythms. And the way I look at songwriting is, again, it's not so much about writing complicated riffs. You can write complicated riffs. Hey, some of the riffs I have on this new album and albums in the past, they're a little challenging to play, sometimes even for me if I haven't played them in a while, but that's not the end goal, at least for me. And it's okay if it's your goal. I want to stress that. It's okay. There's not a right or wrong way here. I'm just telling you my perspective, because that might help you with your songwriting. My goal isn't to write just killer guitar riff. Yeah, I want it to sound great, but I'd rather the guitar riff be memorable than super challenging for other guitar players to play. In other words, we're not writing music just for other guitar players to appreciate that. Now, there's a lot of songs and albums and artists that do that. Again, perfectly fine, but that's not my end goal here. My end goal is to write something really that I like and that I resonate with, and that I can just become internally almost obsessed with my own music, okay? And I don't say that from, and you guys know my heart, you guys know that. I don't say that from I'm way up here or I'm the best songwriter. That's not coming from that place. It's coming from a place, and I really want you to get this, okay? It's coming from a place that if you're not obsessed with your own music, how can you get other people to be obsessed with it? And when I say obsessed, I'm not talking about like, well, this is some great guitar player, great songwriter. I'm talking about a deeper meaning. I'm talking about your music having such a powerful impact on that person listening or that person hearing you play guitar, even if you don't have a song or album out there. What I'm looking for you, okay, this is for you. When you pick up your guitar, I want the people that hear you play to just have this thing boiling inside them, like, oh my God, there's something magical about this person's playing. That's what I want for you guys, okay? Everybody watching this video. So I really want you to play from your heart and become obsessed with your own craft. Become obsessed with your own creation, okay? Actually, I talk about that in some lyrics in another song on the Overcometh album. And that is also gonna make you a better guitar player, songwriter, and musician. It's funny how all this stuff kind of comes together, and the right people will like your music as well. You know, the thing about songwriting is don't so much try to appeal to the masses, unless that's your goal, of course, if you're writing country or pop music, because those are kind of mass appealing genres, you know, but heavy metal or whatever subgenre of metal that you're into, you know, that's typically not going to appeal to the masses, and that's okay. One of my, and I know I'm kind of making this long here, guys, I hope you enjoyed the chat so far. If so, give it a thumbs up. One of the artists that I really admire a lot is Tom England from the band Evergrey. The thing I love about Tom England, though, is he sort of created his own subgenre. If you've never heard Evergrey, that's a great band. He created his own subgenre of metal. Like, he doesn't sound like anyone else, and his voice is not like anyone else. You can tell he's not trying to sound like anyone else. He's not trying to fit in any category. You can tell he just writes from the heart, both musically and vocals and lyrics and that sort of thing. So he's one of the he's one of my influences over the past, probably since like 2008 or 9, since I discovered Evergrey. So anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about my album, and I'm telling you about some other band. But hey, that's okay. I like to share my influences with you guys as well. Anyway, guys, leave any questions you have in the comments, and hey, please check out my album, Overcometh by Jason Stallworth. It's out there on all platforms. Once again, I'll have CDs available in January 2024. Guys, thank you once again. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Until the next video, as always, keep it metal and keep playing music.